Thorn again here with another Thorn video, or rather, a re-recording of a video I was already planning on putting out. Here I'm at the tail end of my mine. I've had minecarts and stuff, but that part's not terribly important. Nice little haul so far. To change up my rail on the other end of it. So what happened is, I had my video set up. I recorded it, and I encoded it, and then I realized I had the wrong code. I'll keep that one. I realized I had the wrong encode, so of course it didn't quite turn out as expected. Of course, then right afterwards I decided, well, I'm going to take my video and I'm going to take it and deal with. I'm losing track of my brain. Talking and doing things, always fun to try to do. Take the rail back up. Actually, leave the rail down here. So what I've done is, this will be a re-recording of my tutorial on my Skelly farm. Once I get to it. Leave the dirt down here. Okay. What happened was I was clearing the space up for doing another video, and I deleted the raw footage, not thinking much of it, and that... Oh, lovely rain. Deleted the raw footage, not thinking much of it, and then, well, I thought I'd already backed it up to the drive, but no big deal, right? This occurred all while I was having issues trying to upload things, which didn't help either. And I figured no problem. I had the exfit of it, so check it out, no problem. Found out I exfitted the I had encoded the previous video content because I was in the wrong folder. So I figured, oh, no problem. I'll go back to the external drive. Pop it in, away we go. Yeah. One minor problem, like I said, if you're going to be saving stuff out to make space, make sure you actually saved it. So, we'll make our way over to the Skelly farm here, and that the center part of this video is already encoded. In fact, the first video before the mess up was encoded on the 6th. The center part was recorded on the 13th or so. Bad day for encoding. I can never remember where I put things. So yeah, lots of fun with that. My coal will stay on me. And I'll put you back up. I'm trying to eventually collect enough to get a silk fortune on one of these picks, like this one here. Silk touch is nice, but that pick's gonna last me forever. I'm only mining up, like, as you can see, mining up the redstone ore itself for different things, and the diamond. So when I get fortune, I can just get more diamond that way. And lapis, because, well, I have no use for lapis right now. I got tons of it. So here we are, back up in the farm. This is recorded much later date than the original, so things are not quite the same. My escaping animals. Except for Mr. Yellow hasn't escaped much. Odd color for him. This will be a grain tower eventually when I figure out how big I actually want it. So here we are. It's the Skelly XP farm. This is the outhouse. Good use for it, I guess. As you can see, I've cleaned up the outside with my usual, but the biggest change is down here for this. Yep. I made this space 8x8. I made this one wrong because you're supposed to have the 4 this direction, but this corner right here is the corner of my my room, so I can't do much with it just yet. I just don't feel like digging up the tower going down for a third time. And that. This is where the water will come in here, they catch, they go up, away we go. Pretty straightforward. You can make an XP farm and just put any one of these in that, no problem. This is where they head up. The shaft going up goes up to 2 blocks below the surface. They have soil and then a layer of cobble to protect it. And that. This is how I turn off the torches once I get everything set up. Pretty straightforward design. I don't have my buckets with me, so I can't set it up for you, but I might record some more. The room down here has changed a lot. I cleaned it all up. Half slab, so nothing was spawned in here. Convenient place to stand to deal with stuff, and of course the collection gate. What's this here? You see right now it's all cobble all the way up because I've dug this down like 4 times. I keep tweaking it. But this runs up vertical wire and the pistons. As you see, there's a torch way up there. That's where my mobs flow to. They actually flow across this way, and there's a sign that prevents the water from falling. And that we'll get in. It's not the best design in the world, but it works for me. And that I keep throwing them out every time I get over half a chest. I use my handy dandy disposal unit. Very handy. And that's it. I still have room for more chests here, but honestly, I'm never going to go through this many bones, and I got enough arrows to last just about any army. I may eventually head to the end, which I probably will do on this world. I'll eventually head to the end. I'll end up in taking about 4 or 5 stacks with me. We'll see how that works out. Nighttime. In any case, we'll leave it there, and we'll see you at the end of the tutorial. Ah, yes. The spawner. Or rather, the spawner on my test world. So I built this little thing to go over the basics of building your own XP spawner out of just about any standard dungeon spawner you find. It's a pretty straightforward layout. I'll basically go over the basics of it. You don't have to design it this way. Any way will do, just as long as you follow 4 main principles, and we'll go over that. First up, your spawning area. You want your spawning area to be at least 8 by 8. You can make it 9 by 9, get around the hole, exactly finding out which corner this is, but 8 by 8 is also really required. You find out the corner it is by going to the 2 lowest coordinates, your X and Y. So you know if I go this way, you get lower coordinates, and I go this way, you get lower coordinates. Okay. It's because the spawning area of this thing where it actually checks the air blocks where it can spawn in is 8 by 8 by 3. The block it's in, 1 block below, 1 block above. By carving out 2 blocks below it, so you have your flowing water, and having ample space above. I mean, most of these spawners are high. Most of these dungeons are high enough anyways. You get maximum number of spawns. If you're like a 5 by 7 or 7 by 7 space, you'll get maybe 3 spawns each time it pops. On the one on my main world, I've checked it. I'm getting about 5 or 6 spawns each time it pops up. And this is what you really want. It speeds up your XP farm really fast if you do that. There we go. See, once you get this laid out, you want to set it up so that you somehow, you want to set it up so that somehow you funnel the mobs in some way. This simple example, I have them funneling down an 8 long width with a single block of water flowing them towards a corner. You could do 2 flows of water to the center. You could have it flowing. Well, I suppose there are ways of making it flowing sideways if you want to, but you could even have like a single source block here and have it all flowing that way to the corner. It may take a little work to do that, but it all works out. The one on my main world, I got it to the center because that's where I had the channel already. So the second thing you want to do is you want to be able to shut this down. When you're not using it, or in that, especially if your base is built right next to it, you want to be able to shut this thing down. So you want some sort of block here. In my case, I use 2 pistons in these little blocks here to prevent mobs from actually entering the spawner. You could probably get away with just having the 1 block here and that, or using something with fence gates. I've messed with it, and there's a few ways to do it. And I got so stuck again. Anyways, once those are released, pretend they just opened. Once they're opened, your mob will flow into here, and essentially it's a water elevator with solid water blocks and ladders. And that you want to take them up to a height that's beyond the spawner. Within range of use, I say anything where within 30 blocks is fine. The exact fall height is the more critical part of it. In that, I am having no luck today. The exact height you want to take them up is debatable. I say outside of the 16 block limit, because they tend to detect within 16 blocks. So around 20 or so blocks is probably sufficient for the height. And that the third thing you want to do with the farm is you will need a collection area. It doesn't have to be this elaborate. It can be a single stream, like I've done on my world. This one here is fancier, so I can get the water from where it's here over 1 block without any corners, so to speak. So the mobs will pop up here and they'll naturally flow towards this corner. The point for the collection is so that when you're ready to kill them, you can open the gate, they'll all fall down, and they'll take the fall damage, will mostly kill them. The exact fall distance would vary depending on what sort of mobs you want. If they're skeletons, the one I have on my base is about 23, 24 block drop, which is more than sufficient to take them within about a heart and a half, which means I usually use a sword or a splash potion is sufficient to take them out. Zombies, you'll probably want to keep it closer to 30 blocks. You'll have to test it. I mean, this is a lot of fudging that goes on with this. I've got, what do I got? This is a scale model. This should be up a little higher, but it gives you an idea. And that's pretty much the fourth thing you have to do with that. All those, pretty straightforward in that. For the wiring for this one, this is just a torch right on top of the switch for the top one. A torch right there, and it's just vertical wires straight up, and it's probably the easiest way to put the block in the top half. And that. My one at home only uses just the one. I don't need additional blocks down at the bottom. And that. You may wish to put a way to stop them from flowing in, and you can use non-sticky piston down here. It should be sufficient to keep them from flowing in. I'll show you how that works right here. So if I switch this spawner gate over here, this will retract the pistons that allow the mobs to flow into the elevator. Pretty straightforward. I got a piece of redstone here to power this one, and a torch to power the one below, and then just a redstone wire that runs into this. And it runs all the way around to the stairs and in the side of the switch block. And the upper one is, like I point out, pretty straightforward design. I mean, taking advantage of the falls means you don't have to do too much with them. Early game, it's pretty easy to set these up. You don't have to go anything fancy. In that, you can just use your if you get them to the point where they're under about a half a heart. Like I recommend once you find a suitable height, we'll spawner this down far enough where you can get a height. It's just dig down, set up your blocks for the kill zone. Don't fancy anything up yet. And just keep lowering it until one of them die, and then build up 1 block. And that should be sufficient to find out how far they are when they're within like a heart and a half. That's pretty much it. There are other setups. I mean, there's crushers, there's lava blades if you want to mess with all that. There are lots of ways of softening them. But the fall one's the simplest. And at its best, you're spending one sticky piston or one piston at the top. Yeah, I probably could do it with one piston at the top. The key point is you do need to have a sign there to keep the water and this have an air cap so they fall. If you have water across here, they won't fall. So you probably want to put your sticky piston like I did here, underneath it. Extended pistons do have bugs, so you definitely want to get that one slime ball for one sticky piston. Beyond that, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, I think it's got all the information into it. Yeah, pretty much. We'll get to see this in action here in a couple seconds, provided my ISP is cooperating. I'll have this uploaded shortly. Till then, hey, have fun with your spawner. So the idea was to do a large number of mobs, and I got up to about 480 or so, which isn't bad. 43 levels. Might have been a lot more than 480 then. Yeah. Fraps didn't get it. Java crashed. But I just picked up all the objects in there, and it's effective. I just have to say, with this particular installation I've got here, I probably want to have like 200 max, at least with this computer I have. Your results may vary in that. Oh, let's put one up there. Your results may vary depending on what you're achieving in that. There are better setups. There are multi-mob setups. If I ever find a couple spider spawners close enough together, I do want to set one of those. In the meantime, a couple skellies will cooperate. No, that's the ones I hear up there. Oh, there we go. We'll leave this with a passing word, you know, and all that. This has been Thorn with another Thorn video, and have a great night or day, and remember, it's a Minecraft world up there.